YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So today we have got the Exotek 25 tooth servo arm, really nice anodized blue aluminium, and I'll try and get a few pictures on it close up and stick them around here for you. But let's get this upgraded on the DR10 and see how it fits, see if we got any clearance issues. I did elongate the slots to move the servo back on this one, so I'm not anticipating any issues, but let's get you in for a close-up look and crack on with fitting, see how it works. Right, so first thing we're going to need to do is remove the body, get that out of the way, and then let's see if we can get it focused. That's better. Right, so mounted on here is a servo saver style servo arm, but seems that it's not a bashing car. It's not really likely to get too much abuse, and with the speeds that these things go when you start modding them, I think steering accuracy is probably more important than the servo saver. So it does look like the dimensions are round about right. It does also come with this little screw to lock it on once you've got the servo screw in and the arm in place. So first thing we're going to need to do is drop the actual arm off. So I'm going to start by unscrewing the link, so we'll get that off. And it saves having to pop them off of the actual joints. So next, not sure if it's going to be easier, but we do have an angled driver, so let's see if we can remove this. Then this is going to sit on the RC that way, so it should line up towards the back, but we'll take a chance that it's going to line up right. And you can thread lock these if you want to. But as a rule, they are quite a tight fit on the Exotek stuff, so I'm not thinking it's going to come loose. So that's basically how we're going to line up. Then we're going to have to flip the RC over. We're going to need to remove the actual servo. Let's get these two screws out. And you can see where I put extra holes in to drop the servo back. But if we now flip this over, and if you're careful enough, you should be able to keep your servo pretty centered. And then you can remove the original servo saver. So it should come off pretty easy. And we're going to sit in that way. So it doesn't look like either one of the holes lines up perfectly straight. So I'm going to swap the tapered head screw for the button head screw that actually comes with the servo. And if you've not seen it before, the specs on this servo is absolutely crazy. At 6 volt we've got 18 kilograms per centimeter, and the speed is 0.054. At 7.4 it's 0.047 and 19 kilograms per centimeter of torque, and at 8.4 it's 0.042 over 60 degrees and 20 kilograms of force over a centimeter, and it only draws 2.6 amp, so it's quite an easy servo to run. But because these wheels are so small, It's basically marketed as a helicopter tail rotor, so that's why it's so fast. But for these drag cars, I like really quick steering, and you don't need a powerful servo, and you also, it's not really going to take any abuse because it's not bashing around off-road or anything. So we've got the normal button head servo screw in, and then you've got this little screw on the side that you can then screw down just to make sure that this servo arm is not going to go anywhere at all. Now let's have a look and see how this is going to line up. Make sure it's not going to catch, because that's one of the issues that we did have with this RC when I was building it, is that the steering setup with the stock servo holes, it kind of hit the servo. So if we get that in place, then carefully flip it over, and then hopefully the servo screws will line back up. I think it is a bit of a strange design, this DR10, the way the servo mounts, the way the holes aren't elongated at all, and there's not actually any way to drop the servo back using these stock mounts, which is why I end up having to put these 2 extra holes in. But as I say, the servo's not really under any kind of stress. Now we will have to recenter the servo and set up the endpoints. So let's get a battery in this thing. So we've got a battery. Let's get the transmitter on. We'll switch it on to DR10, because on this one we do have this one running on an enhanced receiver, which is running 280 Hz for the ESC, but 1000 Hz for the Razor T1 servo. That makes it extremely quick, even though it's only getting probably 6 volt at best from the Traxxas ESC. So first thing we're going to want to do is go on to sub-trim for steering. And you're going to want to set your sub-trim. And then we're going to want to drop out of that and go into his endpoints. So how I like to set this, I like to set them, especially on an RC like this, with no load on the wheels. So if we turn, and then you want to back it down so it's not straining. Because the last thing you're going to want to do is have your servo straining, because that will just burn the servo out, especially with no servo saver on it. So once you've got your endpoint set, just make sure it all still works. And there you go. One really nice Exotek servo arm, and we now have basically almost no play whatsoever in the steering, and extremely quick and rapid reacting steering, which should hopefully help keep your RC in a straight line. And then we can use as normal trim to adjust the steering if needed. Center point. But let's wrap this one up. So there you have it. We have the DR10. We've now got the Exotek front and rear hubs, the Exotek steering arm, which gives incredibly rapid steering. I've got to get a taller gear for this, because I were originally just going to start crazy upgrading it, but I think this little VXL 3S system, it's probably got a bit more to give. I know as we've got it geared now, I think it maxed out around 30 mile an hour, and there were no heating motor or anything. Even speed control didn't get warm. So I'm just curious to see what you can get out of this kit, just sticking to like a pretty entry level sort of RTR build. Other than the mods that we're putting on, they don't really affect what motor or gearing you're using. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when I get some more opinions, just how far we can push this. I mean, we are running 2S and it's a 3S system, and I know on 3S the Traxxas systems tend to get a bit warm and maybe cut out under heat load, but on 2S it should be fine. So it should be quite interesting to see what we can actually achieve with this DR10 before having to upgrade the motor and ESC. And then obviously once you go down that route, you're going to have to do all the diff housing, new diff, hardened gears, but we'll see how it goes. But thanks again for watching WTF Rc Cars. If you find this kind of video interesting or useful, entertaining, don't forget to share to friends and family, hit the notification bell, and catch you guys again in the next one.